If, like me, you are afraid to make hard decisions because you are trying to recover from codependency, I'm going to tell you. One of the things that started happening to me, because I got into a situation, well, a relationship. Most of my relationships have always been like I defer to the person who's in charge. And this is so that I don't have to make anybody feel uncomfortable, so that I can just sit in the background and not be noticed. But I'm realizing that that's not really a thing for me. Like, apparently I can't hide in the background. And so I've been really trying to work on this codependency habit. And I was thinking about it today and I was like, I can't make any hard decisions right now. What is going on? Why can't I make the decision to move forward on all the things that I need to move forward on? And I'm going to tell you, one of the things is that I'm stuck. But it's not because I don't want to move forward. It's because I'm still healing from codependency. Codependency tells me that somebody else needs to make my decision. And it tells me that I need to be careful because, so for me, it's like if I make the wrong decision, my life path will just completely be devastated. And that's so irrational. What I'm going to say is that nothing is so fated that it cannot be changed. And I used to think it was fated. I read St. Augustine, a book all about him. And I love his philosophy that everything that's meant to be will be. And I kind of clung to that for a really long time. But it's kind of it's like a codependency with the Creator, if you think about it. And so it takes out free will altogether. But the problem is that nothing is fated to the point where it has to happen. Some things we all get choices on. And I do think things happen for a reason, but I do think that you can make decisions, but the things that are meant to happen to you will happen to you just in a different form. So nothing is so fated that you can't find your way out. And so that's how I have to change my mindset, because I have to get away from the St. Augustine, his viewpoint of what God does in our lives, and move it more towards the progressive look where it's got more free will involved in it. And so being afraid to make hard decisions, it's my codependency, my trauma with codependency that's coming out and rearing its ugly head. Here's the problem. Everything changes anyway. Everything changes. So you can't control what happens to you in the future by making a good decision now. And especially when you've experienced some sort of trauma, if you're like me and you want to, like you avoid trauma with all that you have because you've been through so much of it. What you do is you try to look forward and see the future and see what might happen. And this is where, a lot of my intuition kind of probably developed, is because I would look to the future trying to figure out the right move to make so that I don't have to experience any more trauma because I didn't think I could handle it. Turns out I can. Just makes me stronger every time, which is sad, but it does. But everything changes all the time, always. And so my idea that I can't make a decision, and if I don't make it's freezing. It's the fight, flight, or freeze. I'm freezing in that decision because I'm afraid to move forward. I'm afraid that moving forward on this situation will cause a domino effect that will end in a giant explosion, like what happens on The Simpsons whenever, everything just crashes. That's what I keep thinking. It's like if I go this direction, explosions. But you know what? If there is an explosion, you're going to see me walking away in slow-mo. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I've decided. It's like you can always find a way out if you make that choice. If you make a wrong choice, then guess what? You can always find a way out. And I don't know that there is such a thing as a wrong choice. There's just a choice that leads to this or to that. And so instead of seeing life as a path that goes from point A to point B, and that's all there is, I think I need So for me, I need to start thinking about it like a tree. It's like branches that branch out. So if I make this choice, then it can go this direction, or this choice, it can go this direction. And there is no controlling how big the tree gets. Because we want the tree to grow. We want it to have beautiful leaves. We want it to grow to its full potential. Whenever we have a tree, that's what we want. And so you have to think of life that way. It's like the decisions that you make, you gotta lead with your heart sometimes instead of with this up here. And so for me, like I'm feeling very trapped. And that for me is like the hardest. I hate being trapped. So I want to like escape it ASAP, but I feel trapped because I'm freezing in that energy. And it's not for me. I can't do that. That is the codependency that's saying, I must have somebody else make this decision. So I'm like, okay, God, make the decision for me. Or, okay, universe, show me a sign. Tell me where I need to go. Tell me what I need to do. If it's meant to happen, I'm sure it'll happen no matter which decision that I make. And so I need to remember that it doesn't matter like what form that takes. It can be any form as long as I get to make that decision. And as long as I move forward, it's what I want, what my heart wants. I need to listen to that more instead of my ego. Because remember, your ego is there to keep you safe. Period. Doesn't take your heart into account. So you have to balance that. Again, I keep talking about it. Balance that out and then make the big decisions. And so what does my heart want? Is it feasible? And just move forward. You can always find a way out because you are capable. And I have to tell myself this. I am capable. I really am, because I've been through so much crap that I can get through anything. Not anything. I haven't been through everything, thank God. I'm begging him not to make me go through everything because I don't think I can handle certain things. I think I would just be crushed under the weight of it. But I do know that in most situations, I have like walked away. I'm not unscathed. That's not what's happened. I have walked away trying to learn the lesson from that experience. And I cannot keep myself from learning the lessons. I can't. No matter what decision I make, there will always be a lesson. I will never stop learning. And that's what it is. I mean, I'm a lifelong learner. I want to learn things until the day I die. It's part of my educational background. I want to know all the things. Can't wait to get to heaven to ask all of the questions. Be like, now I know. Now I know everything. That's like one of my favorite like things to think about. It sounds really morbid. But it's not. It's like, well, at least I'll know all the answers whenever I die. Or I can find them out. Maybe. It's his fingers crossed. But it's leftover codependency. Whenever you are frozen and you can't make that decision, you're waiting on the universe to come bring you the decision to make the decision. And this is so hard for me because I've been reading a lot on, manifesting and that kind of stuff. And I do believe in some of that. But in cases where it's a big decision, I don't think the universe would help me. I think they'd let me make my own decision. You know, the fates, see what happens. Give me crossroads. Meh. It all sounds very Greek and tragic to me, but it's fine. But nothing is so fated that it cannot be changed. So just FYI, if you're frozen trying to make a decision like me, then may you find your reason to make a decision. May you find the strength and the courage to make the right one. Well, a one. I don't know if right one is a thing. It's a lot of thoughts. Anyway, y'all have fun. Ooh.